ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hello, welcome to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. On our ASEAN Daily today, we will bring you daily updates and commentaries on issues and events that are impacting this region. I'm your host Arlene Tan, and today, on Tuesday, 23rd of February 2016, we will bring you the latest politics and current affairs news from Southeast Asia. Our top story today, the ASEAN Development Bank is keen to fund a $1.5 billion building of a railway network that connects Cox's Bazar, which is Bangladesh's southeastern beach resort, to neighboring Myanmar as part of a larger Trans-Asian railway network. This is not a new project, as Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in 2011 opened the construction work on the rail line. But unfortunately, due to the lack of funds, it has been on hold. According to the Bangladesh Economic Relations Division Joint Secretary Saifuddin Ahmed, he said that the ADB has been prioritizing Bangladesh policy for development through regional connectivity. And the project under Trans-Asian Railway Corridor will set up rail links with Myanmar. The ADB wants to fund it because of its tremendous prospect. So what is the rail link after all? Some 100 kilometers link will connect Bangladesh with Myanmar through Gundum border, and they have two meetings with the ADB mission on the project. Bangladesh is a very unique country as it is situated in between many civilizations, namely India, China, and Southeast Asia. But the difficult hurdle to cross is to establish road connectivity, in this case to the east with Myanmar and also, interestingly, with China. There are three mountain ranges in the Myanmar close to Bangladesh border which blocks road building to connect from Chittagong to the main highways with Myanmar, which run from the northern border of the country close to South China and move south to Yangon. If roads can be built from Gundum in Bangladesh to Sittwe in Myanmar, then it would actually be easy to connect to the highways within Myanmar. In this case, it would be possible for travelers for Chittagong to cross over to Myanmar and travel north to Kunming. And with the building of the railway, it will make things even easier. And for Bangladesh and also Myanmar in this case, it would definitely create larger economic prospects and opportunities between both countries. Just a bit of a background, then Bangladesh has a 300 kilometers border with Myanmar, and the country expects to connect by road and rail with Kunming in China through Myanmar. Let's move on to the next news. From railway and roads connectivity, we discuss on another form of connectivity: international relations. When we talk about ASEAN's ties with the outside world, we usually would discuss about the US, China, Korea, India, and Japan. And the relationship has been great, in fact, stronger year after year. But seldom we talk about ASEAN's relationship with Russia. When we talk about Russia, it's definitely a core dialogue partner for ASEAN, but it's still not a strategic partner. Looking ahead of the upcoming Sochi summit, only Russian President Vladimir Putin has personally fired up the tepid relations. Mr. Putin has already written a letter of invitations to all the ASEAN leaders to come to Sochi. This time he wants to make sure that the 10 leaders are there. This time he wants to make sure that all the ASEAN leaders, 10 of them, are there in Sochi to exchange views for the first time, in fact. So far, Mr. Putin, even on his third-term presidency, has never met with all the ASEAN leaders or attended any of the ASEAN-led mechanism. When Mr. Dmitry Medvedev served as the Russian president from 2008 to 2010, he attended a special summit with ASEAN leaders in Hanoi in 2010. Well, back in 2005, Mr. Putin was a guest of the ASEAN Chair, Malaysia, and was invited to attend the opening session of the inaugural East Asia Summit in Kuala Lumpur. He did make a strong presence with enthusiasm to join the EAS as the founding member, which received support from the chair and some ASEAN members. However, there was no consensus since Mr. Putin's interest in ASEAN has worn thin. But the interesting turn of the event, after the annexation of the Crimea and sanctions imposed by the West against Russia, it has refocused on the region of Southeast Asia as an alternative sources of import and export markets. In fact, Vietnam was the first ASEAN member to sign the Eurasia Union Free Trade Agreement. Thailand could be next, in fact. Mr. Putin dispatched Medvedev to Vietnam and Thailand early last year and later on Cambodia. Both Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia were all friends, not to mention Myanmar too. But it is still a long way to go for Mr. Putin, as Russia has yet to set up a mission dedicated to the ASEAN Secretariat, like all other dialogue partners have done, before its status is upgraded to a strategic partnership. Good news is Russia has been delivering a lot of its support towards Southeast Asia. One of it is Thailand. While the US alliance with Thailand suffers strain after the Bangkok 2014 coup, Russia had delivered combat helicopters to the military regime and now wants to provide tanks, counterterrorism, training, security, intelligence and other assistance. In fact, Moscow is willing to support Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, the coup leader, contrasts sharply with the Obama's administration of public criticism of the junta. Security is a very important area and seems like Russia is cashing on Thailand to benefit from working closely together. And Mr. Prayut Chan-o-cha is also invited to join the May summit in the Russian city of Sochi. This will definitely be one of the stepping stones for Russia and ASEAN to increase its ties and connectivity with each other. The next news, we move on to our economic update. Well, President Joko Widodo wants a no more quote-unquote embarrassing bureaucracy. The president of Indonesia said that there is no more excuse for Indonesia to lag behind its neighbors in Southeast Asia in facilitating investments in the country, as its investment coordinating board, known as BKPM, introduced two new measures it has hailed as bureaucratic shortcuts. With Southeast Asia's ASEAN Economic Community having come into force and the Indonesian government mulling whether to join the free trade agreement called the TPP, Indonesia said that the country has no other option but to open up the country to investors. Well, all this to unlock more jobs and improve the welfare of the country. However, the president has lamented that Indonesia's poor performance of the World Bank's Doing Business 2016 report, where unfortunately it was placed at 109th spot among 189 countries. Although it's an improvement, no doubt about it, because in the past, last year, Indonesia was at 120th spot. But it is far below most of the Indonesia's neighbors, most notably Singapore, which tops the ranking at number 1, and Malaysia came in at number 18, while Thailand at number 49. Jokowi even said on Monday, let me repeat, 109. Embarrassing. He instructed his cabinet member and the BKPM chief to work on boosting Indonesia's ranking to at least number 40. He said Indonesia could not backtrack from the AEC and that it was not competing with the ASEAN neighbors to attract more foreign investors. Jokowi even added that if we don't change ourselves, We will be run over in this era where everything is done fast. He kept on repeating the word embarrassing when describing how many foreign businesses have cancelled their investment plans in Indonesia upon learning of its often long and complicated bureaucratic processes. He even said that he did not want to hear any more complaints about how it took 4 or 5 even more years to secure permits to build power plants, for example. Indonesia has a lot to catch up, or not. Jokowi's administration definitely will be marred by economic sluggishness and as well as its inability to fit into the whole ASEAN Economic Community framework to boost greater progress in the region's economy. That's all from our ASEAN Daily today. Thanks for tuning in to Durian ASEAN with me, Arlene. For more updates on Southeast Asia, please go to our website at durianasean.com. If you're on the go, you can always download our TuneIn app on your mobile. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels on Durian ASEAN and Durian ASEAN TV. Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page, Twitter and Instagram. We always welcome feedback from our listeners. Stay tuned with ASEAN Daily by tomorrow, Wednesday, same time at 12 to 1 p.m. on GMT Plus 8. Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.
You're now listening to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.